Charlotte, 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 what on earth have you done? Sorry, wrong Good afternoon, everyone. As the father of this lovely bride, I have the undoubted honour of making the first speech. For those of you that don't know, I'm Kevin, Charlotte Mary's dad. And I'm fully aware that my main function today is to warm up the audience and pave the way for the star speakers, Jonathan and his best men. So, if you're not that impressed by what I have to say, I can assure you it's only because I don't want to give these guys too hard an act to follow. And in the words of Henry VIII, to each of his wives in turn, I won't keep you very long. Firstly, on behalf of Deb and myself, it's an honour to welcome each and every one of you here today to celebrate the marriage of our daughter Charlotte Mary to Jonathan. May I offer my warmest greetings to Jonathan's mum Susan and Jonathan's family, who together with all family and friends have made this such a special day. And you all should be proud that in some way you've had an impact on this young couple's lives. A lot of you have travelled great distances to be here today, for which I thank you. Occasions such as this always evoke a touch of sadness though, and I cannot let the moment pass without mentioning loved ones who cannot be here today. I know Deb will be thinking about her mum Mary, who sadly passed away some years ago, and more recently Charlotte's grandson Nan, who will most certainly be looking down with immense pride. Charlotte's Gambar also is unable to be here today, but has asked me to pass on his love and best wishes to the happy couple, and that he's looking forward to that carvery. Moving on, I would like to say that the proudest day of my life was the 3rd of October 1986, when Charlotte Mary entered the world. At first I thought I was in the wrong delivery room when that little mop of black hair appeared. I didn't realise that babies were born with hair, and Charlotte had more than Ken Dodd. Well, that only seems like yesterday. Since then there have been many more proud days, notably the birth of Charlotte's sister Libby, who is the lovely bridesmaid today. I think I can speak for Deb also when I say I feel extremely lucky and humble to have two wonderful daughters who have given us both great pleasure over the years, and reinforces the deep sense of pride I feel today. Indeed, when I accompanied Charlotte here today, there could not have been a prouder man alive, and I'm sure you will all agree that Charlotte looked stunning. And Jonathan, well, looked stunned. Libs, you look gorgeous too, darling. Charlotte, before I talk about you, I'm not sure that you've been entirely honest with Jonathan. This isn't the first time you've been a bride, is it? But I suppose winning first prize in the fancy dress competition when you were 3 on holiday in Jersey isn't the darkest secret you ever had. Seriously though, Charlotte, my darling, I know that where daughters are concerned, fathers are naturally biased. But in you today, I see a beautiful, intelligent young woman, a daughter to be truly proud of. A daughter who throughout her life has always been ready for a challenge and would always give it her very best shot. From swimming length after length, not knowing when to stop, to the high grades you achieved in flute and piano, and then academically. From a very young age, you have had a hunger for learning, and in particular a passion for writing, and it was no surprise when you had articles published. I know that passion still burns within you, and I'm sure it won't be too long before we see a novel by CMJ on the shelves at Waterstones. It was also very brave of you to go off to uni in North Carolina at a very vulnerable point in your life, and then to be placed on the Dean's list for your academic achievements was truly incredible. You embraced the whole experience in the States and made some great friends. Katerina flying here today is testimony to that. You've carried that same enthusiasm and energy into your job, and even in a difficult economic climate are reaping the rewards. Your next big challenge, apart from Jonathan, is motherhood. And I've no doubt that both you and Jonathan will make great parents. And with Auntie Libby around, Junior won't only be the brightest kid in town, but also the trendiest. Really, the only thing you've never been very good at is picking a decent boyfriend. Jonathan, that brings me to you. When I was first informed that Charlotte's friend from work was coming to Sunday lunch, my first thought was probably another dud. But when you came strolling up the garden to find me knee-deep in courgettes, I was immediately a signed-up member of the JC fan club and thought to myself, I think she's finally cracked it. I think we hit it off straight away, and although you had a very limited knowledge of the beautiful game, preferring the other game with the funny shaped ball, we've endeavoured to educate each other on the finer points of each other's sports. I'm not a gambling man, but after that first day I met you, I knew that you were the one for my daughter. And it was only as a stone wall certainty that this day would eventually come to fruition. And may I say that I'm very, very proud to call you my son-in-law, and know that you'll always look after our precious daughter. You must promise me, though, that we can still put the world to rights over a few Magners from time to time. Now, I did say at the outset that I wouldn't keep you very long, but before we toast the happy couple, it is traditional at this point in the proceedings that I offer some advice, particularly to you, Jonathan. I don't profess to have been qualified in this department, so I researched some trusted quotes, and the best one I could find that sums up a marriage said that marriage is a 50-50 partnership. I don't know who the author was, but he knew little about marriage, even less about mathematics, and absolutely nothing about women. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the bride and groom. Charlotte and Jonathan.
Jonathan.
And one last thing before the main acts come on. Libby, please don't make me do this again. Thank you for your time. I'll pass on to Jonathan.